Hi guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about life being an experiment rather than reaching a state of perfectionism. And this is something that's so helpful for me because I am a lifelong perfectionist and it's not as good as it sounds. Like, perfectionism is actually the root of not achieving things. Like, it always holds you back more than it ever pushes you forward. And that's not to say that having goals and having dreams and aspirations and like the ability to achieve those things, that's all great. But perfectionism is a whole other level where it almost puts you in freeze because it's literally impossible to achieve perfectionism. Like, in this world, there is nothing that is perfect. Anything can always be outdone. The most beautiful person in the world, there's always going to be someone born more beautiful than them. There's always going to be someone more successful that comes along, more whatever. Fill in the blank. And when you don't let yourself express yourself because you don't feel good enough or you don't feel perfect, quote unquote, you're going to just sit and do nothing. And you're going to achieve a lot less than if you would just accept that maybe you don't know everything, maybe you don't have all the answers, maybe you're not good at all of whatever it is you're trying to do. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start at ground zero and work yourself up. And I think as a kid, I always found everything to be easy. Everything kind of just came naturally to me. And because of that, in my adulthood, I struggle starting new things because I want to already be good at them. And that's impossible to achieve because I have to start somewhere. And a good example of this is when I took my yoga teacher training, because I went into it just as a practitioner and I didn't teach at all. I didn't know how to teach. I wasn't necessarily even going into the training to be a teacher. But when I got there, the first night, I literally was sitting there and the whole class, and they started calling random people up to come and teach. And I felt that like pit in my stomach, like, what did I get myself into? Because I did not at all feel prepared to teach. And I realized that I was going to be doing this every single day for weeks and weeks. And I didn't want to embarrass myself. I didn't want to not be good at something. And the ironic thing is, we were all there to learn how to be better teachers. And so nobody was expecting perfection from any of us. And I already wanted to be good at the thing that I was there to learn how to do. And I quickly had to shed that part of myself because I knew that these next few weeks, like, I was going to have to surrender in a lot of ways and kind of put myself out there in a way that I didn't want to be seen necessarily, that kind of scared me to be bad at something. But the more that I did it, the less that it was scary. It's like I got up to teach and I knew I wasn't going to do a good job, but I kind of put all the pressure off of me because I was reminding myself that I don't know what I'm doing and it's okay. And we have to start somewhere and it's okay. And by the end of that training, I was able to get up and teach a class, which was mind-blowing to me. Like, I did not expect that going into this. And so that was a matter of weeks. And just having the ability to kind of let go of that perfectionism within myself and just say, it's okay to be bad. I'm learning. I'm getting better. Like every single day I improved, and I had to face challenges and I had to face fears inside of myself that I didn't want to deal with. I didn't want to look at. But every time that I faced that fear, I grew from it. And in a matter of weeks, I could see how much growth happened. And I just look back on that time like so proud of myself, because now I do teach yoga classes and it's not that big of a deal, you know? And if I would have never let myself not be good at something, I would never be in the spot that I am now. And that's why I want to talk about thinking of life as an experiment rather than being your perfect version all of the time. Because if you let yourself play, if you let yourself experiment in different ways, and just think of every avenue in your life as an opportunity to learn something new about yourself. Anytime you're in an environment that you're not familiar with, that's an opportunity to learn something about yourself. And it takes all of the pressure off of you, of being like this perfect, ideal version of you all of the time. And the ironic thing about it is when you do that, you actually become a more ideal version of yourself, because that's where the growth and expansion comes from. So, all in all, I think perfectionism is very harmful, and the quicker you can let it go, the more that you're going to get where you actually want to be. And let yourself mess up. It's like going back to kindergarten when you were drawing. Like, nobody in kindergarten is making like a gorgeous piece of art, but everyone has to start somewhere, and you have to let yourself be bad at something, especially in our adulthood, because there's sort of this underlying expectation that we're already supposed to have it figured out and be good at everything that we're doing. But you're going to limit yourself so much in that, and you're going to stick to one thing that you already feel good at, and you're not going to learn anything else in life. And if you can just sit back and become a student to life and acknowledge that you can be a beginner at any point in time, doesn't matter how old you are, you can be a beginner and you still have more to learn. You're going to expand your awareness way more, and you're going to have so many beautiful opportunities show up that you would never imagine for yourself. And on top of that, I want to talk about like the labels that we give ourselves and how limiting they are. It's like, notice what you're identifying yourself with. Notice if you say, I'm bad at math or whatever, like whatever the subject is, every time you're saying you're bad at this, like that's not for you, that could never be you, you're speaking that into your existence and you're not ever letting yourself grow or develop. Like maybe that could be you. Maybe the only reason why the greatest people that we look up to throughout history, they only got to where they are because they weren't thinking like that. The inventors of this world, they weren't looking at the limitations of what we've already achieved and saying, well, that's just what it is. This is the capability of what we can achieve. Like, they thought beyond the structure of society. They saw more potential, even though there was no reason to believe in it. There was no physical evidence showing them that they could do this thing. But next thing you know, we have lights, we have hot water, we have driving cars, we have planes. Like, all of these things happened because people went against the norm and they believed in something that wasn't previously done. And we can do that within ourselves. Just because we haven't done something previously doesn't mean that we aren't capable of achieving that thing. So I'll leave you with that. That's all I have for today.